So the Venezuelan government voted unanimously the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamala Persad Besesa, persona non grata. The Venezuelan government, they are indicating that they are no longer willing to do business with the Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister. Just imagine that. Let that sink in. Let that sink in for a minute. The Venezuelan government, who had a conflict about the Essequibo region with Guyana in 2024, the Venezuelan government, they are willing to sit down with President Ali, the president of Guyana, but they are not willing to sit down with the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. How did we get here? Let's talk about it. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. How do you go from next door neighbors, allies for years, to talking yourself in the middle of a war with your next door neighbor and ally? I just don't understand this. From day one, I remember the first time the Prime Minister came out and she was addressing the media and she said that, look, Venezuela, if Venezuela was to attack Guyana, that she is going to allow the American government to use Trinidad and Tobago to launch an attack on Venezuela. And I remember saying at the time that was unnecessary. Like, I did not see the reason for the Prime Minister to come out and to say that to the media. I understand that Guyana is a close ally and close friend. And yes, you take up the phone and you call President Ali and say, you know what, President Ali, I have your back. If anything goes off there, like Trinidad and Tobago is going to be right there. And we would allow the American government to use our base, to use our country to help you out with if Venezuela was supposed to attack you. I understand that. That is a private conversation. But the Prime Minister came out in public and said something like that when that was not necessary. And I keep going over this a million times. Yes, I understand that Venezuela and Guyana had their back and forth last year. Last year, September, I was covering this. Since then, we have not heard much from President Ali where this is concerned. But the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago keep talking and talking. And the second interview she did, she said that we have no intention of putting boots on the ground in Venezuela. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago keep talking herself in the middle of this conflict. And a lot of the diehard UNC supporter, they keep coming after me when I mention this. And I'm not going back and forth with people on this. Like, if you want to support the Prime Minister all the way into a war, that is your prerogative. And I can understand the concept of drink water and mind your business. But the reality is that not all Trinidadians are voting for this. And this is simple. This is what you call diplomacy. Nobody's defending President Maduro. Nobody is saying that the Prime Minister should stand in the way of what America is doing. America is America, and America will do whatever they want to do. But like all the other Caribbean leaders, if the Prime Minister stayed out of this would not be happening. If the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago just did not say anything, if she did not address this at all, and everything that is going on in the Caribbean Sea now is going on, and when the media try to get something, a conversation from her, she said, you know what, we did not give them permission to be in the Caribbean Sea, it's international water or whatever. This conflict between them and Venezuela will not be happening. And as I said, let this sink in. Guyana and Venezuela, they are the one that's at conflict for the Essequibo region, which could be billions of dollars worth of oil in that region. They are the one in conflict. And the President Maduro and his administration, they're still willing to sit down with President Ali to trash things out, but they are no longer willing to sit down with the Prime Minister because of the war of words, because of the going back and forth. And if a UNC supporter cannot understand that, I don't know what else to say. But the reality is that there is never any justified reason to support a war. And that is what they're supporting now. I see some people online talking about, yes, America, the president is going to come and they're going to take out Maduro. And I can't believe people are talking this nonsense as if like innocent people in Trinidad and Tobago are not going to lose their life if a war should go on between Venezuela and America. America is miles away from Venezuela. Trinidad and Tobago is next door. And when you see President Maduro coming out and talking about false flag attack, people that don't really understand geopolitics and what is going on, false flags attack, those are like playbook type of thing where like you would attack yourself. If the enemy is not attacking you, you will attack your own people just to justify a war. And this is what President Maduro is putting out there, saying that the Americans try to undertake a false flag attack on their ground. So I don't know. People are still supporting this, and I just can't and I still can't understand if you don't turn on your TV and look at what is going on in Palestine, if you don't turn on your TV and look at what is going on in Ukraine. And people keep going back and forth like, oh, you're picking up for President. Nobody's picking up for President Maduro. If President Maduro and Donald Trump, they want to go at it, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago should stay out of it and let them go at it by themselves and don't put our people at risk. But at this point now, the Venezuelan government made it crystal clear that if America should ever attack them, that Trinidad and Tobago is going to be fair game. And that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Like if anyone in Trinidad and Tobago become a casualty of this war, when it happens because the Prime Minister just keep talking, that would just be unfortunate. And if you are a supporter of the Prime Minister and you can't get that into your head, something is wrong. Something is very wrong. So this is what went down in Venezuela, where they voted the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, persona non grata.
Cold Clawed and So Freedom, in which it has been unanimously approved. She declares and declares. This lady, I don't remember her name, as persona non grata. Please indicate it. Good custom. Approved. Secretary, we do not need gas from Venezuela. Let's see when the mouse appears if you need it or not. A few days ago it was published that Venezuela loves the people of Trinidad and Tobago and has demonstrated it repeatedly, but that is a government of the snab of Trinidad and Tobago. That is a garbage government of Trinidad and Tobago. That lady is allowing Trinidad and Tobago to be used as an aircraft carrier against Venezuela. And we are going to act in every possible way, legislative, political, social, economic, so that Venezuela is respected. It is unacceptable to maintain an agreement that favors Trinidad and Tobago if Trinidad and Tobago has become an agent of aggression against Venezuela. We will not allow it. In some American journals of cardiology and internal medicine and psychiatry. We do not need gas from Venezuela. Let's see when the mouse appears if you need it or not. That's why I will support this draft agreement with both hands. That's why it's a matter of honor, dignity, morality, and expression of Venezuelan sovereignty and independence to declare this lady who crawls like a worm as persona non grata for this republic that is the birthplace of liberators. Building a just society, which is what we are doing at this time, and an equitable one, the need to continue promoting innovative humanistic education. The honorable members of Parliament who are in favor of the draft agreement to declare the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Persad Bisesar, a persona non grata, as well as to unanimously support the denunciation she made of the energy agreement between Trinidad and Tobago and the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Yesterday, the constitutional president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, please indicate it with the customary signal, is unanimously approved. And this lady is declared persona non grata. I don't remember her name. She is declared persona non grata. Thank you. Please indicate. Good morning, October. Approved, Secretary.
Due to some disability or something else, but in the end they are not different. Subject heading. That's all, President.
Considering the heading. Approved. Next. 4.
So those are the images coming out of Venezuela, and I just don't understand this. Honestly, I can't understand this. I know that politics is tribal, not only in the Caribbean, but we see in America where people that support Donald Trump, like the MAGA supporters, like whatever Donald Trump does wrong, like they're not going to say it's wrong. And we see the same thing with Joe Biden. Joe Biden's supporter. Joe Biden was healthy. Joe Biden was never sick. Joe Biden was never losing his mind. So I understand the tribal thing with politics, but we're talking about war. That is what we're talking about, war in the Caribbean. And I see people online, oh, the Caribbean is not a zone of peace because we have crime in the Caribbean. We have had crime in the Caribbean for decades. Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Jamaica have been experiencing crime over 20 years. My entire lifetime, Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago have been experiencing crime. So this is not new. And for people to act as if the Trump administration is in the Caribbean Sea trying to help the Caribbean deal with their crime problem, like I don't know what these people are thinking, but I don't know. Like I hope it never gets to war. But honestly, like the odds are like 99.9% right now that America is going to go to war. And the irony of this is that when you watch the American election, this same Donald Trump was talking about Joe Biden and the Democrats like they're the war government and they love war, and he's going to come in and he's going to end the war in Ukraine and he's going to end the war with Israel and Palestine, and he's never fought a war in his presidency and all of that. And now, look what is happening now. In the Caribbean, we're seeing more military assets in the Caribbean right now than anywhere else in the world. Let that sink in. There are more military assets in the Caribbean Sea surrounding Venezuela than anywhere else in the world. And Venezuela, the people of Venezuela, whether you think Maduro is a dictator or not, they are not going to give up their country just like that. They are going to fight to the end. And I don't know how many people are we willing to see lose their life just to justify this. It is just not making sense. I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to drink water and mind my business. I will pray for the people of Trinidad and Tobago that don't support this. But for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, for the people who are supporters of the Prime Minister who support this and who are telling me that they don't care if it goes down to a war, that is up to you. And if you want to support it, then, God go with you.